Dear Bioware, as an Anthem fan and someone who legitimately wants to see Anthem become everything that it set out to be, at least everything that was somewhat presented at E3 2017, when you look back at that trailer, that demo, what a lot of people refer to as that lie, it honestly is something that looks truly magical. And the fact that Anthem, for what it is, came together really in the last 18 months tells me that there is still something there. But this isn't about what I think Anthem could be or should be. It's about Dragon Age 4 or any other game that you decide to make. Dear Bioware, if you do not get Anthem to where it should be, even if the masses don't come back, even if it's an okay game and just remains an okay game, if you don't invest in this game, if you don't put together a plan, if you don't get the community's buy-in, if you just let it exist and move on to the next thing, we are not going to be moving with you. It doesn't matter how great a next game that you make. If you show that you can't support the games that you're already working on, that you already have out there, especially in the games as a service model, why would we believe that anything you make after this point would be fine? This is based off of rumors about the next Dragon Age being a live service game. And honestly, that sounds really interesting to me. I'm pro these games that live on forever. I've played Final Fantasy XIV for almost 9 years now. I've played Final Fantasy XI for even longer. Those are these games as a service games. And when they're done right, even though that 1.0 did launch with a lot of issues, they can make memories, they can make things happen for a very long time. And it can end up being fantastic spending that time with family and friends, doing these contents, running these bosses, etc. But at its core, regarding any other game, that shouldn't be what the conversation's about. No shifting beyond Fixing Anthem should be anything of messaging, anything of transparency. I still think that the full Bioware team needs to be focusing in on getting Anthem to where it should be. If you show us that, if you show us that the longevity of these games means something, that a 5 or a 10-year game means something, then by all means, yes, let's do that. Let's bring gaming into the future. Let's make these games live and breathe and evolve with the players. Let's make our stories resound. Give us the passion, give us the strength, give us everything that we think and believe from what you've done before. But that's why these articles today, where obviously talking about whether it's a live service game or even if it's just a straight up single player game. You've made promises, you've set expectations, and even if it's going to be 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 24 months, however long you need to take to get Anthem to where it's supposed to be, to where you want it to be, to where you sold it to be, you got to bring us into that conversation. Now, obviously, I would say at this point, you're probably still working on your plan. You're probably still trying to figure it all out, what makes the most sense, what to communicate, because communication is almost probably the hardest thing to do in any business. Words get mixed up, ideas get misunderstood, expectations get set and get out of control, and it's almost impossible to manage those expectations. But I think you have something with Anthem. I think that it shows that you have something with Anthem. I think the community is frustrated. I think the community is downright wondering what's going to come next. I think the community is also dying. And that's not to say this game can't be resurrected. That's not to say, get other games like No Man's Sky. All of this stuff has happened before, and I think there's obviously just general fatigue when it comes to games as a service. So anytime that conversation comes up, everybody just remembers the bad, and they don't remember the companies that put the blood, sweat, and tears into it. I wish that that wasn't the way. I wish the way was just launching, coming out rock solid, being an amazing game, and then being another amazing game for 5 or 10 or 15 years down the way. Honestly, I hope that we never see an Anthem 2 ever in its history, because I think the promise is that these games are here, they're here to last, and your investment pays off over the long run. But regardless of that, don't be talking about anything else. Dragon Age 4 or Dragon Age whatever, live service, non-live service, let's not have that conversation yet, because until you show us that this is worth investing, until you show us that you can commit to what you promised to, or at least what we expect of you, and I believe you can. There's no Dragon Age. There's no investment. There's no returning to any of your franchises if you can't invest and show us that level of respect for the player base today. I think you can do it. I'm rooting for you guys. I'm rooting for all the developers who poured hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours to get us to where we are. And where we are is an interesting starting point because obviously it's got its flaws. But it's also got something else. I stand by what I say when I love this game and I want to see it thrive. But the fastest way to get the player base concerned is to say, well, look how they handled Anthem. And we don't need that a part of the conversation. I think Anthem players want more Anthem. I think people are just waiting to see and to hope that something that's going to come out of this. And that's what I'm rooting for. I'm rooting for some leadership. I'm rooting for some leadership. I think it's interesting to see that all the people who are trying to blame EA for the issues really came down to, like, not really the case. Like, you guys picked Frostbite. You guys set the standard. You guys worked on this for 6 years. You guys ran around and just needed that vision. And I hope that you have it. I think you do. At least I can see it. And, you know, if I can see it, I hope that you can too. Otherwise, eventually I think I'll just be unbelievably destroyed or frustrated at its core. Anyway. Let's not talk about anything else. You don't have any other games. I know you do. I mean, obviously, that makes sense. But it's that it doesn't make sense. You gotta show us this. If you can't invest in this, why invest in you? And that's the best way and the most loving way I can say it. Anyway, guys, I don't know if you're listening. Bioware, I love you. I know you guys are working hard. Keep working hard. Anybody listening, I love you guys. Thanks so much for watching this video. Hopefully, you know, we don't get to see the studio go away. I think they've created some of the best games, and whether people say that they're dead or they're not, you know, that's the interesting thing, is that redemption is possible, doing the right thing is possible. The talent these guys have is incredible. So, we're going to leave it at that. Thanks for watching. This Worked a Game. My name's Brian. Hope you guys have a better day than yesterday. Talk to you soon. Take care. Hey, it's me. It's been a while since I talked to you guys directly this way, but don't tell anybody. We've got even more epic content planned for this channel. The response has been incredible. We hope to see you. If you're new, hit subscribe, leave us a comment. I'd like to talk to you more about video games. I can't seem to speak my language. All right.